Friends, we need to do with the problem number 7, and here the errors are the one involving the totaling mistakes and carrying forward mistakes. How we are going to rectify these things? Of course, presently when the accounting to a greater extent of 90%, when it is getting carried through accounting packages to a greater extent, we will not come across in our practical situation totaling errors and the carry forward errors. But once you prepare the accounts manually, these errors are bound to happen. So in that situation, how do you go for the rectification of it? So now first error we have is sales book was overcast by 100. So sales 10,800 is the actual total. Let us suppose when you made the total, you written it as 10,900. That is what we call it as a overcasting. In case if you are writing 10,700, we will say that as a undercasting. So once sales got overcasted, how to rectify it? Take the notes. The error of overcasting. The error of overcasting in the sales book means, excess credit in the sales accounts. Excess credit in the sales account in the ledger. This is rectified by writing the excess amounts, on the debit side, of the sales accounts as to error of casting in sales book rupees 100. This reverse the wrong effects. So I think all of you are able to feel it. First feel it. Feel कैसे करना? Sales एक बार आप total करे सो तो once you are writing it with pen, you cannot cut it and write a correct total. Instead, what you have to do? Wrong total, let it be like that only. But debit of the sales account, what you do? You debit with 100 rupees so that credit excess of 100 gets nullified by the debit of the 100 which we have. So overcasting errors are going to be rectified by writing on the other side the amount with which the overcasting happened is a point. Then friends, we move to the second transaction or the error. Credit side total of Vimal's account, rupees 9,100 was carried forward to the next page as 1,100. From this page you are moving to the next page. You made the total of the credit side total of the Vimal's account 9,100. Let us suppose Vimal is a creditor and the credit side total of his account is 9,100. When you carry it to the other side, you have posted it as 1,100. So there is a shortfall in the credit of the Vimal's account by what amount? 9,100 minus 1,100 means 8,000. So to that extent the shortfall must be recorded on the credit side of the Vimal account, because once you carry forward 9,100 amount as 1,100 amount, you have to increase that shortfall. So in order to increase a credit balance, what you do, write it on the credit side of the Vimal account by saying that by rectification of error of short amount being carried forward. Like that we have to write. So take it. This error of carry forward, this error of carry forward in Vimal's accounts, means his account shows, less credit of, rupees 8,000. This is rectified by writing on credit side of the Vimal accounts, Vimal's accounts, as what? By error in casting, on ledger folio, that in which ledger folio that wrong cast, that is wrong, this thing is there, that you have to do. So by error in not casting, by error in carrying forward, by error in carrying forward on ledger folio dash rupees 8,000, by error in carrying forward on ledger folio rupees 8,000. So by you are writing like that, what will happen? The credit balance will go up and come to the real position of 9,100 is a point. Then I move to the third thing. The total of the returns inward book was added short by 2,500. Total of the returns inward, return inward का मतलब क्या हुआ? Sales return. Sales return shows which balance? Sales shows a credit balance, sales return should show a debit balance. So there is a shortage of how much? 2,500. So what you need to write? You have to write in the returns inward book as error of short casting by of rupees 2,500. फर्स्ट रिटर्न इनवर्ड्स अकाउंट को फिल कर दो और उसमें शॉर्टफॉल आ गए बोले तो रिटर्न इनवर्ड एक डेबिट बैलेंस अकाउंट है और उसमें शॉर्टफॉल आए तो किस साइड पे लिखना? डेबिट साइड पे ही लिखना पड़ता. तो लिख दो हाउ दिस एंट्री गेट्स डन. द एरर ऑफ अंडरकास्टिंग, द एरर ऑफ अंडरकास्टिंग in the returns inward book, in the returns inward book means a short debit of, means a short debit of rupees 2,500 of rupees 2,500 in returns inward accounts, in the returns inward account in the ledger, in the ledger. This error is rectified by, this error is rectified by writing on the debit side, writing on the debit side of the returns inward accounts. Of course, how you will write, friends? To error in casting. To error in casting on folio number dash rupees 2500. So that by writing like that, what will happen, friends? The debit side will now go up by 2500, so that it will show a correct total. Then, friends, the fourth point is purchase book total of for July 54,350 was cast as 54,850. Is an undercasting or overcasting? 54,350 होना था और आप कितना लिखे? 54,850. डिफरेंस कितना? 500 rupees. Your purchase book got over amount. So how to reduce the purchases? Purchases shows which balance? Debit balance. एक डेबिट बैलेंस को कम करना बोले तो क्या करना? क्रेडिट कर दो. So you have to credit, you should write on the credit side of the purchase book, by error rectification in casting on so and so ledger folio 500 rupees, so that your purchase account will come down to 54,350 only. Write it down. The error of overcasting the purchase book, please write. The error of overcasting the purchase book means excess debit in purchase accounts. Means excess debit in purchase account in the ledger. In the ledger. This is rectified by writing on credit side of purchase accounts. Writing on credit side of the purchase accounts in the ledger. In the ledger. How do you do that, friends? By error in casting. By error in casting. Folio number dash rupees 500. So what will happen, friends? The excess debit will be thus cancelled and purchase account will show a correct total. Then, friends, fifth, the total of the conveyance column of the analytical petty cash book was added short by 45 rupees. In analytical petty cash book, you already studied that there will be a number of columns depending upon the number of expenses which we have. One column total is wrong and it is undercasted or overcasted. Short means undercasted by 45. So you have to increase that by 45 rupees. So how the rectification you are recording? Write it down. The error of undercasting. The error of undercasting. The conveyance. The conveyance. Column of petty cash book. Petty cash book means a short debit, means a short debit of rupees 45, a short debit of rupees 45 in the conveyance account of the ledger, in the conveyance account in the ledger. this error will be rectified by writing on the debit side of the conveyance account in the ledger. How you will write? To error in casting rupees 45. So by writing like this, what is happening, friends? The debit total of the conveyance account will now go up by 45 rupees, so that it will be a correct total is a point. Now that we completed the first phase of it. When we say first phase, the error location, identification of the error happened before the trial balance preparation. From now onwards, what we have is what? Second type of location. That is, you prepared the trial balance, but the final accounts are not yet prepared. You prepare the trial balance, and that trial balance is showing a difference between the debits and the credits. Debit total is not equal to the credit total. Then what you will do? Just to tally the trial balance, you will create an account called as suspense account, and if credits are more than the debits, then you will have suspense account written on the debit side, and if debits are more than the credits, on the credit side you will write suspense account so and so amount. Now you prepared the trial balance, but not yet prepared the final accounts, and at this stage you want to rectify the errors and you want to resolve that suspense account. After rectification of all errors, there should not be any suspense. The name suspense we are giving because there are some hidden errors which you need to identify, locate and make the corrections, and all these corrections need to be carried out through the suspense account as a point. So let us read the concept of it, and then we will try to do some problems. See, two-sided errors are always whatever the state rectified, corrected by passing an entry in the journal proper. Friends, if it is a case of an error of omission or any other error which involves that the effect of that mistake is on two sides, both the debit side and the credit side, simply what you do, you write a particular rectification entry, and that rectification entry is where you will write, in which book you will write, in a book called as journal proper, a subsidiary book called as journal proper में ये rectification entries लगा देते. जब entry लिखने का जरूरत पड़ता, when the effect is on debit and credit sides. So two-sided errors are always, whatever may be the state or the stage at which they got located or rectified, corrected, they will be done only by passing an entry in the journal proper. Rectification of one-sided error depends upon the stage when the error is detected. Problem is only with one-side error, because we are living with a very, very beautiful system called as double entry system. ये double entry system कैसे system है? You have for every transaction two aspects, debit aspect and credit aspect. If you are not sure about the entry, please omit the entry. At least trial balance gets tallied. But without knowing what is the entry, if you pass the entry, then it becomes a tougher task. So the point of interest here is, I am not advising that all those for which you are not able to pass the entries, you please omit it, is not the point. Learn it and do it. But not knowingly, if you pass an entry, then identification, location and rectification becomes a tougher task, and In rectification of the errors, one side errors is more difficult to rectify than both sides errors. So rectification of one-sided errors depends upon the stage when the error is detected. Is it before preparation of the trial balance, or is it after preparation of the trial balance but before preparation of the final accounts, or after completion of the final accounts, that is trading and profit and loss account and the balance sheet. The one-side errors detected in the first stage, that is before preparation of the trial balance, are rectified as already seen above. So seventh problem which you did, there error is only one side error. One side error hai to kya karte aap? There is no need for passing a journal entry. You say straight away you are going to that particular account and saying that by rectification or to rectification. But the one side error is detected in the second stage, that is after you prepare the trial balance but before the final accounts. If you want to rectify the one side errors, already the sum total of the error and the sum total of the effect got grouped into which account? Suspense account. So any error rectification has to be done through that suspense accounts. So they are rectified through the suspense account. The difference in the trial balance is first transferred to an account called as suspense account, so as to tally the trial balance artificially. Without writing the suspense account, if the trial balance is getting tallied, means it is a natural tally. Suspense लिख के tally कर रहे हैं बोले तो artificial tallying. That means there are some errors and all. So if the debit total of the trial balance is smaller, the difference is debited to the suspense account. If the credit total of the trial balance is smaller, then the difference is credited to the suspense account. Whenever any one-sided errors is detected in future, it is debited or credited to the suspense account. If all one-sided errors are located and rectified before completing the final account, suspense account will show a nil balance and will be closed. Otherwise, the balance of the suspense account is carried forward to the next year. If all the errors duly properly get rectified, means friends, then there will be no suspense is a point. Now we do a problem and try to understand how you have to rectify the errors once the trial balance got prepared and suspense account is there. How do you make the rectifications? Let me read the problem number 8, friends. Trial balance of measures unmatched and company did not agree, and the difference was temporarily transferred to the suspense account. Subsequently, the following errors were found in the accounts. Subsequently, the following errors were found in the accounts. Sale of rupees 4,500 to Patkar was posted in the ledger account of Katkar. Right. Then wages paid of rupees 130 had been posted twice to the debit of the wages account in the ledger. Third is purchase from Surendra, rupees 2,300 were not posted in the purchases account. Then friends, sale of furniture of rupees 670 was posted through the sales book. Then fifth, the total of the purchase returns book for the month of May, rupees 375 was not posted in the ledger. Then sixth, insurance premium paid rupees 125 was posted into the commission account. Assuming that the difference in the trial balance was 1,795, you are required to show journal entries to rectify the above errors, suspense account in the ledger, find out the adjusted profit if the net profit prior to the rectification of errors was 6030. Yes, a very good problem. Now the trial balance difference is what? 1,795 is the trial balance difference. Each and every error and what is the effect of that particular error is it a one side error or two sides error? These aspects we have to deliberate. And finally, the effect on the profit and loss accounts. Which errors will have effect on the profit and loss account, friends? Only when the error involves a nominal account of income or the expense, then it is going to affect the profit. If it involves a real account and personal account, then it is not going to bring or make any difference in the net profit position. With this, let us make a beginning to understand what it is. First error which we have is sale of rupees 4,500 to Patkar was posted into the ledger account of Patkar. Friends, is it going to make any difference in your trial balance? We sold the goods to Divya, but when we are making the posting, we are posting to the account of Sneha. After all, what will happen? Divya account will show a short balance and Sneha account will show a higher balance. So it is not going to make any difference in the trial balance. So this is not going to bring any difference in the trial balance, means you should not involve suspense account. When you should involve suspense account? Only when that particular error caused a difference in the trial balance, then only you should bring the suspense account into the play. But this is an error which does not require involvement of the suspense account, because after all, what will happen? One account will show a lesser balance, other account unnecessarily show a higher balance. The account which shows unnecessary balance higher balance need to be reduced, and the account which need to show a correct balance need to be debited. So the rectification, how we are suggesting, that is Patkar account is to be debited, instead of that Katkar account got debited. So Katkar account which got unnecessarily debited, you credit the Katkar account, and what is to be necessarily be debited, Patkar account, you debit the Patkar account. Write the entry. Patkar account debtor to Katkar account. Patkar account debtor to Katkar account. Here the error involves what? Two personal accounts. So it is not going to have any effect on the profit figure. All of you are able to get my points. When an error will have an effect on the profit figure, only when that error involves at least one nominal account, then it will have an effect on the profit figure. So the entry here is Patkar account dated to Katkar account, 4,500, 4,500. Narration you should write for every journal entry. Being the sale to Patkar, wrongly posted to Katkar accounts, now rectified. Then friends, we move to the next. Wages paid rupees 130 had been posted twice to the debit of the wages account in the ledger. Wages is an expense. I paid salary to Divya 2000, but 2 times I wrote it. Naturally, what will happen? My salaries will go up by 2000. That means my debit side of the trial balance will go up. Correspondingly, the difference will be on the credit side. Isn't it or not? So wages account shows which balance? Debit balance. Unnecessarily by debiting twice, you have a excess debit in the wages account. Which excess debit of the wages account need to be reduced? एक्सेस डेबिट को रिड्यूस करना बोले तो क्या करते हैं हम? उसको क्रेडिट कर देना, और It is a one-side error which brought the difference in the trial balance. So suspense account credit already got created. That suspense after the location of this error should come down. A suspense credit, how to bring it down? Debit the suspense account, credit the wages account. So the excess amount of the excess wages will be reduced by crediting the wages and debiting the suspense account. Please write the entry. Entry is suspense account debtor to wages. Suspense account debtor to wages. 130. Right? Being a rectification of excess debit. Being a rectification of excess debit to wages accounts. To wages accounts. Then friends, will it have any effect on your profit figure? Let us suppose already your profit and loss account got prepared. Will it have any effect on your profit and loss account? Yes. A nominal error involves a nominal account means it is going to affect the profit figure. Actually, an expense of 130 is to be debited to the trading and profit and loss account, whereas you debited 260. So your profit unnecessarily got reduced by what amount? Reduced by 130. So you will add back that amount to the profit to know what is the correct profit. Okay. Right? Effect on profit. Side heading, effect on profit. Profit got reduced due to excess in expenditure, thus we need to increase the profit by 130 rupees. Thus we need to increase the profit by 130 rupees. Later friends, we move to the third adjustment. Purchase from Surendra, rupees 2300 were not posted in the purchases account. You made purchases from Surendra, but you failed to make the posting to the purchases account. So your purchases shows which balance? Debit balance. By not posting to the purchase account, क्या हुआ? Debit कम हो गया. In case if debits are less than the credit, suspense will appear where? On the debit side. Isn't it or not? तो अब क्या करना बोले तो purchases need to be debited with the 2000 and earlier whatever you have written as a suspense, that suspense is no longer a suspense. So ये डेबिट सस्पेंस को कैसे करते आप? क्रेडिट करके क्लोज कर देते. तो purchases which need to be debited, if not debited, now you debit the purchase account, and to that extent whatever the difference in the suspense account, that you close by crediting the suspense account. Write the entry, purchases account debtor to suspense. Purchases account debtor to suspense account 2300. Friends, purchases is what? A nominal situation, nominal account situation. Once all those purchased goods got consumed, sold away. An expense, if you show short in the trading and profit and loss account, your profit unnecessarily got increased. Isn't it or not? If you reduce from your revenues a less expense, then profit, what will happen? Profit unnecessarily got increased. So now how to rectify? You have to reduce the profit. You have to reduce the profit. Let us suppose 10 rupees is my sales, 5 rupees is my purchases. 10 minus 5 is equal to 5. Whereas instead of 5 rupees of the purchases, I recorded only 3 rupees of the purchase, 2 rupees shortfall. My profit will go by what? 10 minus 3 is equal to 7. Actually my profit is what? Only 5 rupees. How to bring it to 5 rupees? By reducing from 7 rupees of profit 2 rupees. I will get 5 rupees. So effect on the profit, you please write effect on the profit. Profit got increased, thus we need to reduce the profits. Thus we need to reduce the profits. Next friends, the next adjustment is like total of purchase return book for the month of May 375 was not posted to the ledger. Purchase returns shows which balance? Purchases shows a debit balance, purchase return shows a credit balance. By not posting the purchase return, you are making a shortfall on the credit sides. तो क्रेडिट साइड शॉर्टफॉल हुआ बोले तो क्रेडिट साइड सस्पेंस क्रिएट हुआ एंड यू हैव टू रिवर्स दैट सस्पेंस by debiting the suspense account and you have to increase your purchase returns. Purchase returns कैसे increase करते हैं आप? Purchase returns को credit करना पड़ेगा तो उसको credit कर दो, because you need to make the total of the purchase returns book for every month and should make the posting into the purchase returns book for one particular month. Although you have made total, you have failed to make the posting into the purchase returns book. So in that context, purchase return shows a shortfall. So now increase the purchase returns by creating the purchase returns, and to that extent you reduce the suspense. So by debit make the debit to the suspense account. Write the entry friends. What is the entry? That is suspense account debtor to suspense account debtor to purchase returns 375 375. Every entry need to be with a narration. Since already the narration is there in the PowerPoint, I move to the next transaction friends. What is the effect on what is the effect of this particular error on the profit and loss account? If you ask me, if you are making a shortfall in the purchase returns, to that extent what is happening, your purchase expense is more. Once purchase expense is more, profit got reduced, so you have to increase your profit. So final effect on the profit is what? Since purchase returns are not recorded, profit got decreased, so you have to increase your profits. So now friends, the effect on the profit you just write down as purchase returns are not recorded, expense of purchase will show a higher balance, expense of purchase got a higher balance, thus the profit got reduced. Now we need to increase the profits. Then friends, fourth item is supposed to be done with. Sale of furniture rupees 670 was passed through the sales book. Whenever you make sale of furniture, you should record it through the journal proper, not through the sales book. Sales book में क्या लिखते हैं आप? Only sale of goods. Goods means what? The one which you purchased with an intention to make sale. So by unnecessarily recording it in the sales book, you increased the sales. Sales shows which balance? Credit balance. You increased the credit balance. How to rectify it? Reduce the sales by debiting the sales. Actually what you have to do? You have to credit the same to the furniture account, and you have to reduce your furniture account. Furniture shows a debit balance, to reduce it credit karna hoga. So now what need to happen? Sales account need to be debited with 670 and furniture account is to be credited with the 670, because whenever you make sale of furniture, entry is what? Bank account debit to furniture account, or cash account debit to furniture account. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out is a point. Got the points? So in that context, actually credit should go to furniture account, whereas unnecessarily the credit has gone to the sales account. Unnecessarily what got created, now debit it. What actually need to be created, you please create it. Entry is, right, the entry is sales account debtor to furniture. Sales account debtor to furniture. 670. What is the effect of this on the profit, friends? When you recorded it in the sales and the final accounts got prepared, let us suppose, that means you increased your income, consequently profit got increased, so you have to reduce your profit by 670. Write down effect on profits. Effect on profits. What is the effect on profits? That is, profit got increased on account of, increased sales. Thus, we should reduce the profit. Fifth error already we rectified, friends. Now the sixth error, insurance premium paid. Insurance premium paid, rupees 125 was posted into the commission account. Insurance is also an expense, commission is also an expense. So there will be no effect on profit. There is no problem with the suspense account also, because both are debits only. Instead of writing in this account, you have written it in the other account. So rectification, what you will do? What is the account that is to be debited? You debit it. What is unnecessarily debited? You credit it. Write the entry, insurance account debtor to commission. Insurance account debtor to commission. 125, 125. What is the narration you will write, friends? Being rectification of insurance premium paid. Being rectification of insurance premium paid, recorded in the commission account. Recorded in commission account. So friends, all these things you need to make a posting. More particularly the entries which involve suspense account, make a posting. Write that suspense account. Suspense account एक बार लिख लो. Suspense account, debit credit, Of course, the problem is not specifying that the suspense account to opening balance is a debit balance. Is there any such a specification given here? As such, we don't see that. Difference in the trial balance is 1795, he said. Of course, after making posting of all the entries also, you can see whether it is a debit balance or credit balance. Two balance brought down 1795, and suspense account into two wages 130, another posting. To purchase return, to purchase return account 375, by purchases 2300. What is the effect on profit? Already we discussed. Just you write down statement of corrected profits. Statement of corrected profits. Every working should have a heading. Statement of rectification, statement of profit after rectification. How do you start with, friends? Net profit prior to rectification. Net profit prior to rectification 6030. Add number 1, wages wrongly entered twice. Wages wrongly entered twice 130. Number 2, add unrecorded purchase returns 375 less unrecorded purchases 2300 less sale of furniture 670. So adjusted net profit, 3565. Then, friends, we move to the next problem. What is the next problem? Suspense account. It involves a bookkeeper finds that his trial balance debit side is short by 308, and so for time being he balances the sides by putting the difference to the suspense account. Subsequently, following errors were discovered. An entry for goods sold for rupees 102 to Madhav was posted to his account as 120. Rupees 100 being monthly total of the discount allowed to customers was credited to the discount account in the ledger. Rupees 275 paid to Madhav were credited to Jadav's account. Rupees 26 appear in the cash book as paid for purchase of stationery for office use has not been posted to the ledger. And the debit side of the purchase account was undercosted by 100 rupees. These are the errors. Trial balance already got prepared, friends. So ab kaise karte? So you are required to make necessary journal entries and also prepare a suspense account. This problem we will do slightly fast. Open the suspense account. Let go. Open the suspense account. What is the suspense account balance? Suspense account balance, debit side is short by 308 means that there is a debit balance in the suspense account to balance 308. To balance 308. With that we will start, and every entry, the next moment you make the entry, make the posting into the suspense account. First, feel the transaction. The entry for goods sold 102 to Madhav was posted to his account as 120. Sales करे आप माधव को, जर्नल एंट्री क्या है? माधव अकाउंट डेटर टू सेल्स. There in entry you don't have any error. Entry you did properly. Madhav account data 102 to sales 102. But while posting from the subsidiary book of sales to his personal account, you have written it as 120. Unnecessarily a debit balance got increased by what amount? Instead of 102, if you write 120, the difference is how much? 18 rupees. By 18 rupees your debit balance got increased. So you have to reduce Madhav account with 18 rupees. Madhav account shows which balance? Debit balance. उसका reduce करना बोले तो क्या करना पड़ता? Credit करना पड़ता. तो debit किसको करना? Suspense को करना, sales को नहीं. Why? Because the error is not in recording the transaction. रिकॉर्डिंग तो सही करे आप, दैट इज माधव अकाउंट डेटर टू सेल्स बोल के 102 लिखे, बट वाइल टेकिंग फ्रॉम द सब्सिडरी बुक 102 रुपीज टू द माधव्स अकाउंट, देयर यू मेड एन एरर ऑफ राइटिंग इट एज 120. सो माधव अकाउंट इज टू बी reduced, suspense account is also to be reduced. So Madhav account which was a debit balance, to reduce it credit, suspense account you needed to close to that extent. Write the entry is suspense account dated to Madhav's account. Suspense account dated to Madhav account 1818. Friends, make a posting in the suspense account dated to Madhav. Suspense account dated to Madhav 18 you need to write. Then I move to the second thing, friends. Rupees 100 being the monthly total of the discount allowed to the customers was credited to the discount account in the ledger. Friends, discount allowed. What is discount allowed? It is an expense. What you learned in the cash book, total of the discount allowed, you have to add it and post to the debit of the discount allowed, because discount allowed is a loss. All losses are to be debited. Expenses and losses are to be debited. Instead of debiting the discount allowed account, you have credited the what you call discount accounts. See, if you write it on the wrong side, what will happen? It will have double effects. एंड एक्सपेंस को इनकम के जैसे लिखे दिए तो क्रेडिट साइड पे लिख रहे हैं बोले तो उसका मतलब क्या हुआ? उसको इनकम मान लिए आप. तो पहले जो इनकम आप मान लिए उसको रिवर्स करना और एक्सपेंस को बुक करना. तो डिस्काउंट अकाउंट को विथ डबल अमाउंट यू हैव टू डेबिट एंड सस्पेंस अकाउंट को क्रेडिट कर देना. सो व्हाट इज द अमाउंट? 100 रुपीज. डबल अमाउंट. Actually, what is to be debited? You debit it. Unnecessarily, what got credited? You debit it. With 200 rupees, you debit the discount account and credit the suspense account with 200. Write the entry: discount account dater to suspense. Discount account dater to suspense 200. 200. Then friends, in the suspense account what you write? By discounts. Then friends, we will have the third aspect of it. Third entry. Third aspect is rupees 275 paid by Madhav were credited to Jadhav account. Instead of one account, if it is done to the other account, there will not be any problem provided in both the accounts on the same side हुए तो, right? You paid to Madhav, entry क्या होगा? Madhav account dated to cash. So Madhav account में कैसे लिखना आप? Madhav account is to be debited to cash लिखना पड़ेगा. मगर आप क्या करें? जादव अकाउंट को चले गए, माधव को छोड़ के जादव के पास चले गए. वहीं जाके आप करेक्ट साइड पे लिखे? नहीं लिखे. जब आप डेबिट साइड को लिखना था आप क्रेडिट साइड पे लिख दिए, क्रेडिट साइड ऑफ द जादव अकाउंट को पे लिख दिए। अब एरर रेक्टिफिकेशन कैसा होना, अननेसेसरली यू हैव क्रेडिटेड जादव, तो उसको एलिमिनेट करने के लिए जादव को डेबिट कर दो। एक्चुअली यू हैव टू डेबिट द माधव, सो डेबिट द माधव अकाउंट, तो माधव अकाउंट को भी डेबिट करना 275 से। अब जो अननेसेसरली जादव अकाउंट को क्रेडिट करे सो है उसको रिवर्स करना, तो जादव अकाउंट को भी डेबिट कर दो और दोनों अकाउंट को कुल मिला के कितना अमाउंट आ रहा उसको सस्पेंस अकाउंट में क्रेडिट कर दो। What the points? So feel the transaction first. Once the amount is paid to Madhav, entry is Madhav to bank. Instead you have written by going to the Jadhav by bank. So जादव को अननेसेसरली क्रेडिट कर दिए, उसको डेबिट कर दो, माधव को नेसेसरली डेबिट करना, उसको डेबिट कर दो और दोनों अमाउंट को मिला के सस्पेंस में क्रेडिट कर दो। एंट्री देख लो एक बार, लिख दो एंट्री, that is of course here the rectification which is given in your solution set simply says Jadhav to Madhav, but that I would have accepted it provided it is stated that it is written on the debit side of the Jadhav accounts. If you see the real aspect of it, 275 paid by Madhav credited to Jadhav account, okay. 275 paid to Madhav. If it is to Madhav, what I said is the correct thing. If it is 275 paid by Madhav bole to make it by Madhav. If it is by Madhav, what is it? If it is by Madhav, Madhav paid to us. Entry is what? Bank account dated to Madhav. Bank account dated to Madhav. Whereas you have written it as what? You have taken it to the Jadhav and created the Jadhav account. So Jadhav account unnecessarily got created. So debit the Jadhav account and credit the Madhav account. See, if the error involves writing in one person's credit, if you are writing on the other person credit, then the person whose need to be created you create it, the person whom unnecessarily you have created you debit it. Write it here, no suspense. On the same side, if the error happened, no suspense. If on the it is a wrong account and on the wrong side means with the double effect you have to do with it. Write the point, that is it is not paid to Madhav, paid by Madhav. माधव तुमको पे करे तो तब एंट्री क्या है, बैंक अकाउंट डेटर टू माधव, whereas you wrote correctly bank account dated to Madhav but posted to the credit of the Jadhav, so unnecessary credit you debit, actual credit you do the credit. Write the entry, that is Jadhav account dated to Madhav. Jadhav account dated to Madhav, no suspense account involves, 275, 275. Then friends, quickly let us do with the fourth error. Rupees 26 appearing in the cash book as paid for purchase of stationery for office use has not been posted to the ledger. So cash book में आप लिखे as paid to the stationery for office use, but it is not recorded to the stationery account. Your expense, there is a shortfall, so your suspense to that extent debit will be there. So now you have to create that expense account and reduce the suspense. So how to create the expense? Debit the expense and credit the suspense accounts.